introduced their gods. The Romans brought their god. The Greeks brought their god. The Arabs brought their god. The Europeans also brought their god. The French brought their god. They call their god Dieu. And the British brought their god. They called their god King and Lord and other names. The Arabs brought their god. They called their god Allah. But whatever god you bring to Africa, we would accept it. But the African had a real name which relates to the supreme being that organized this very world and brought it into being. In Ghana alone, we speak 87 dialects in Ghana. And each dialect has a particular name for God. Therefore, if in Ghana alone we have 87 names for God, then what they brought as Allah is just one. And what they brought as God or King is just one. But we have more names that we could use and put into incantation and again come out of incantation to invoke the God of the universe to come into our land. And this might take us into the spirituality of the African or of the Ghanaian. It is a different story. But where did we come from as Ghan people? Before Abraham arrived in the land of Canaan, there were people living there. And if the people of Canaan were black people, then Abraham came to meet the Girgashians, the Jebusites, the Perizzites, the Sodom, the Gomorrah, the Zoar. A lot of African people lived there in the land. And one of these ancient people could today be traced. The roots are there. They are the Gborbu, who today we call the Gborbu here in Nungua. And then, what made us to leave the land of Canaan? The Assyrians attacked the land of Canaan. We didn't want bloodshed. So we moved out of Canaan, came to the fringes of our next brothers, Mizraim or Egypt, but we did not go into Egypt, but we rather chose to go to Kush, that is Ethiopia. And in Ethiopia, we founded important cities for ourselves. One was Asere. Asere, you can Google after me, but if today is not possible, another time. One was Asere, capital A-S-E-R-E. Asere means 10 commandments, because we were guided by commandments. And the land of Asere that we created today is called Addis Ababa. Then we had another town called Ayi in the land of Kush, or today's Ethiopia. Ayi. And then we had Adama. Adama. All these ancient names are with us today among the Ghan people. We were there. When again we also tried to go and conquer Egypt. You who have been dislodged, trying to go conquer another brother of yours. We attempted, we couldn't succeed. And so Egypt also attacked us. And so out of Kush, we had to move out. This time in our war formations or in the groupings. So we followed the Nile River, not to the north, but we followed the Nile River to the south. Then when we got to the south, one branch of the group broke away, entered into some mountain ranges. They got lost. And they are the people we call the Zulu. The Zulu in South Africa today. But the bigger group took to the west and came to the fringes of the Lake Chad. When you draw the Nigerian map, north of the Nigeria, there is a lake, Lake Chad. We got to the banks of the Lake Chad, stayed them for a while, met some brothers. Out of that brothers came this man. We call the brothers that we met Kotoko, on the fringes of the Lake Chad lake. So we had lived together. Ga and Ashanti had lived together before in the ancients. So from the Lake Chad, we descended down and then crossed the Niger River into Benin, where you mentioned. We went into Benin. But the bigger head that ruled the Ghana train was the people we call the Benin grouping. And today, from that very group, we have our Nungua of today. Another group also stayed in Ile-Ife. They have occupied what we call Accra, Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, the community over there. They also occupied it. Then we have Tema and we have La. All these groupings are very big groupings of the Ghana people. But we all traced our roots into the land of Canaan and then through Ethiopia. I am telling you this because there will be a time that we shall have a blackboard and a chalk. We will be writing, we will be drawing, and you would understand how we spread. We got to this very place when our last post, like my brother said, our last post of staying was at Benin in present-day Nigeria. When we were making the migration, there was nothing like a country in Africa. The land was just lying bare, and people were living in the land. But what prompted us to be grabbing positions was the lie that our forefathers had from the Europeans who came and told us they wanted to trade with us. And then another lie also came from the Arabs, who also came to tell us they wanted to trade with us. Another lie also came from other friends that told us they wanted to trade with us. They will come with an idea, we will trade with you. But at the end of the day, they turn to sell or buy us. And so they sold more weapons into the hands of some people. And so, if you don't have the means of acquiring an arm to protect yourself, the one next to you, having gotten it, will attack you, subdue you, hold you on, and sell you. This was how it happened. But it's also another subject. Today, here we are. When you came in, you could see the pots with smoke all over in the room. This is part of our purification. This is purification. We purify ourselves before we start a major sitting. Why do we purify ourselves? We are our spirits. Today I see you see me. But what is making you to be who you are? You yourself, you don't know. Because if I put a mirror before you and you lift your right hand, the one in the mirror will lift the left hand. If I speak to you, you will respond. But the one in the mirror, when I speak to the one in the mirror, therefore, what is in the mirror is not you. What makes you to be you is the voice that comes out, that is you. Because I can easily recognize you without seeing you. When I hear your voice behind the wall, I hear the voice, I could easily understand who is there. Even the way we walk, the steps that we hit on the floor can easily be identified when you are coming. Somebody would easily know, it is my mother, it is my father, it is my sister. So we can easily recognize ourselves. We are spirits. today I'm talking, what is coming out is the doctor you are seeing. There's going to be a day my voice will go. And my children will come cry and say, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. The daddy you know is the one lying, not lying on the bed. The daddy you know is gone. They will come and take this very body, dump it in the morgue, later on go for it. No, that is not your daddy. Your daddy, the voice, is gone. So Africans believe in the spirits, and they see themselves as being spirits. Therefore, we connect with the Supreme Being, and there is a means that we use to connect to the Supreme Being. And when we connect to the Supreme Being, we communicate with the spirits of the world. Communicating with the spirits of the world, when you sit far away from us, you might think we have been possessed. We are not possessed. Nobody possesses us. We call the Supreme Being. He enters into us and will use us to perform what he wants us to do for him. After that, he leaves the body and he goes away. Spirituality of the African has 4 natures. One, we invoke. And when we begin in the invocation, we reel. It is not you swaying here and that. There is a power that is moving you. And then when we start with the invocation, there is a real communication between you and your maker. And the communication that comes is only understood by you who have had that contact. But there has to be an interpreter. The Christians also have, I think, a form of that nature. The Christians also said it's the Holy Spirit that is, well.
And they speak in tongues.
And so they speak in tongues. But if you speak in tongues and none of us in the church room understands what you are speaking, then it is useless. But with the African, there has to be an interpreter to what is being said. Then we go on again, we speak to leaves or herbs. We speak to leaves or herbs. And so we know what every herb can do. We can pick just a leaf from here, a leaf from there. We bring them together and there is a spark like a match. We know what leaves can cure or heal the diseases. Let me put in something for you to laugh of. When they were talking about COVID-19, COVID-20, and all that stuff, we are in Africa, West Africa, we were laughing because we see it as one of the malarias. We did not bother. There's no need going for that injections here and there because we know, this kind of thing. We have heard of SARS, heard of cholera, those kind of all these things. We are living in Africa. Herbs are what we use. We talk of cancer. Cancer. When we take the sour sop and we eat the fruit, or we boil the leaves of the sour sop, all those things or materials that bring cancer in our body, they become all blocked. And I was telling the Canadian Secretary of the Californian Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, we sat under a particular tree and I told her to send Americans to come and investigate what we were telling her about the tree. The tree is called Ayi, and the fruit that Ayi bore is healing. It is that tree alone that can heal the illness you call epilepsy. That leaf can cure epilepsy in 3 days. And so we don't fear this kind of diseases and all that. The spirituality of the African is linked to so many things that affect the human life. And so in Nungua, we have all that. We would again have to tell you a little about how we have survived. We have survived because we did not find ourselves more into politics. Those that led Africa into politics have become the evil intentions people that have destroyed Africa. The politics they play is not a part of our governance. We have a system of governance, and we are hoping that the next time you arrive, come with your program. Come with your program. Design your questions. Somebody says synopsis. Design your questions and bring your questions. Put your questions to us and see what you can get. I thank you very much for coming. I believe that you will come again because you haven't seen the beautiful side of our tradition. We have two words, tradition and culture. If you have a tradition and he has a tradition, if you allow his tradition to filter into your tradition, his tradition will destroy your tradition. He will keep his tradition, but you embracing his tradition will make your tradition to change, to become a culture. So culture can change, and culture moves. But for tradition, like Nungua, we do not allow other traditions to enter into the tradition of Nungua. So Nungua is the only hub where you can visit and see the real tradition of the Ga people, how they brought it from Ethiopia. It has never changed until they arrived here, and they still maintain their tradition. But lots of the tribes all over have had cultures, but Nungua has sustained her culture. I thank you very much. I know you will be asking questions, but we are welcome to your home.
You, Chairman, thank you very much, Reverend Doctor. It's always a delight listening to you. On this note, we will look forward in June. We will be communicating with our brother, our father, and our friend, Numuka Kantaka. In June, we will be in the, if not middle, actually starting our tradition. So we're hopeful that we'll get the dates right and how we'll infuse your 30 to, I'm sure, roughly 30 students with other faculty heads that will be coming, and roughly like 40 people will be coming to Ghana in June for your program. So we're sure we'll get the timetable right, so that we'll see how best to fuse it in line with our tradition, so that you have the first-hand opportunity to witness some of the tradition and then the customs and the reason and the rationale behind those tradition and custom. And Reverend have said it all. This is the second time we've seen Prof and the team here. We hope to see more of you. This will not be the end. As we move along, we'll perfect it and perfect it more well. I've had the opportunity to live in Orange County, in California, and I've also been an African Studies lecturer at the University of Ghana, where we lecture to students from the diaspora on African spirituality. So you are at home. You are at home. Reverend has mentioned, let us have some of the areas that you want to appreciate. Then we can guide as such for the students to understand where Africans stand when it comes to religion. We don't see our way of life as a religion. We see it as a way of life. The tradition and custom is not religion. We don't ascribe it as religion, because it's our way of life and how we communicate to God Almighty. Reverend opened some part of it, but when the students comes, we will go into the deeper part of it. You will see the customs, and then you now relate with what we are saying and then what is being done. So you are once again welcome. We appreciate the time that is spent, and like I said, we will perfect it as we move along. Thank you very much. And when we finish from here, we will go to the forecourt of the temple. As you were entering, you will see the temple which has been locked. There's some small pyramids in front of it. We will move there, we'll take a group picture, and then the priest will pour a libation to seek the blessings thereof from our deities to guide the process from now up to June, when the team will come and seek the blessings thereof. So this is just a short to it. We know your time is far spent, so that you'll be able to attend to the rest of your itinerary for the day. On this note, once again, I would like to thank Wachekantaka for what he's doing, and to ensure that, yes, he's ahead of cultural activities and exchange programs at our brother and then our friend Otufo's Palace, the King of the Ashantis. He's done a yeoman's job by ensuring that it is not only the Ashantis culture that is learned, but at least for other cultures to be brought to the people, for them to appreciate that it is not only the Ashanti culture that we have, but there are other cultures that are in this country. And we thank you so much. He has been a wonderful friend and a brother to the people of Nungua. So, Wachekantaka, thank you so much.
A big thank you.
And then on this note, once again, we say a big thank you to our chiefs, our Queen Mother, our priest, and priestesses that were able to sit in within the shortest notice, and then in spite of the delay, as they were able to wait. So we say a big thank you to them too. On this note, Ojame, she has something else to say.
There's 3 people at least that I was remiss in stating their names. Chairman, thank you. I forgot. My apologies. We have a team here also that will be coming in June. So we have Mr. Frederick Adai. He's from Tamale and the North, and he will be supporting the students in June.
In June, okay.
Yes, and then we have our logistics manager, Cultural Links, Kojo Kumako. He is here. Yes. And then I don't know your beautiful wife's name and child, but I see there was 2 other people that didn't quite get introduced. I don't know her name, but the wife, she's so beautiful. So anyway, thank you, Teacher Kantanka.
We have June, the whole of June.
Yeah.
We come in our numbers and listen to a couple of lectures. So a big thank you.
Thank you.
The level that we have heard presuppose we have much to hear.
Yes. From here, we will move to the forecourt, we'll take a group picture, and then the priest will pour a libation to seek the blessings as we depart from here. Then also, as I indicated earlier on, we are burying one of our priestesses. So as you move out, you will also witness some tradition and culture and customs which is being performed for the departed priestesses. And if you have much time on the streets, you can see the procession to ensure that our priestess gets a final journey from here as she begins a new journey to the ancestral land. So, Ochambe, Ofani Ubuagu, Teha, Nipetempe, Koneke Watish.
Maniaba, of African Beto, Chame, Yeme, Waka, Banabi, maybe show. Abo, try Maniaba, Wulomo, you know.
Gborbu Temple housed the 99 deities for the Gadangli people. And we always say it's 99, but if you go to numerology, it will give you 18 and gives you the number 9. With the number 9, it is a complete set. So within this temple, we have over millions of deities, which represents the Gadangli people. And each of them here, they manifest through humans. What the communications are and what needs to be done, and then the blessings. And that is why when you install a chief, any prominent chief that you install within the Greater Accra region, you need to bring the chief here for some a week, some 2 weeks, some 3 weeks, depending on the position they are going to take in other towns, so that they'll be taken through some of the tradition and custom for the Gadangli people. And most at times through because of assimilation and other persons that have become part of us. And most of our traditional leaders are not true girls. So we also brought here where through the custom we now transform into a pure girl to be able to reach the Gadangli people. So this has also been the spiritual headquarters for the Gadangli people. Every spiritual issues that will occur within the Gadangli state, if they cannot, if they are having challenges and it cannot be solved from their various towns, the issues are brought here for the deities to intervene. And one of the reasons why Nungua also is really the spiritual head. Nungua sits on the Meridian Rock, which is the center of the world. And the priest that administers that particular rock is the Wulomo, who also ensure that it administers to all the deities that is within the temple. If she back, the other professor. The other professor is she. Come to find out.
Okay, a big thank you.
We wish you well, and we hope to see you soon.
Yes.
In June.
Thank you. Thank you.
So